So let's face it, when it comes to Africa, it is usually the same countries that you hear about, right? You have Ghana, an amazing, amazing country, and I really enjoyed my time there. Ghana has been really pushing for African Americans to come back home and has even awarded citizenships for African Americans who decide to return. You have very prominent figures who have taken advantage of it in the likes of Stevie Wonder, who was recently in Accra and was awarded Ghanaian citizenship. Then you have Kenya. What more can I say about Kenya? Definitely one of the most amazing countries in Africa that also has been really, really popular out there in the social media and on the Traveler's Square. Places like Masai Mara need absolutely no introduction with the amazing infrastructures. Kenya is definitely one of Africa's top destinations, and who can blame anybody for going there? It has amazing food, amazing infrastructure. It has Masai Mara. Kenya needs no introduction. Then you have South Africa. Everybody has heard of Cape Town and the amazing beaches and things like that. And you have Morocco also. Morocco that has, as of 2024, passed every single country in Africa to not be African top destination, right? Morocco is out there on the map as well. One place that really in 2025, I want to push to you guys is Senegal. I believe Senegal is one of Africa's most underrated destinations, and here's why. First, you have the food scene. Guys, Ghana, Nigeria, even Gambia, there are several countries out there that are battling for who makes the best jollof rice, man. Who makes the best? And in Senegal, they actually call it tebu dien. I made a mistake to call it jollof rice in one of my titles, and somebody was quick to correct me and say, Ivan, stop saying jollof rice, it's called tebu dien. So tebu dien is one of those meals that, guys, you just have to try it, man. It is so freaking delicious. Tebu dien is the original jollof rice. It is so freaking good and delicious. Guys, you just have to try it, man. It's one of those meals that I can't possibly tell you how amazing it is. I had the opportunity to actually request one of the most popular chefs in the country to come and cook for us. She did an amazing job. It was a chance for me to see how it's actually made, the proper way. Depending on your financial status, there are different ways to make tebu dien. But guys, it was one of those meals that, whoo, you just gotta have it, man. You just gotta have it. It was freaking delicious. There's a lot more. I had a chance to try several other food. The food scene in Senegal is off the hook. But it's not just about the food, it's the options that you have when it comes to eating those foods out there. You have everything from super fancy restaurants, to street food. Dakar would just shock you. It's not just about having amazing food, but having the venues where people traveling from around the world will actually feel comfortable coming to eat. Traveling from anywhere around the world, you will be comfortable going to eat in many of Dakar amazing restaurants. They have venues by the water, amazing views of Dakar. Guys, we sent the drone out there to give you guys an amazing view of the coastline. Dakar is by the water. It's beautiful, beautiful coastal line with tremendous amount of restaurants where you will see just fascinating view, beautiful blue water. And should I even mention Sally? Let's hold that for now. But I'm just saying, even in Dakar alone, you have so many venues. And if you fancy street food, one of the things that you can't miss, you just can't miss it, is the dibiteri. Dibiteri is street barbecue. And on my last day, I had a chance to film in this street barbecue place called Dibiteri Mbassa. And that's where I met an amazing singer with beautiful voice that created a song, Dibiteri Mbassa, that I was really, really happy to hear and I used on my vlog. Dibiteri Mbassa. So Dibiteri Mbassa is very easy to find, and I have provided the phone number of the owner also in the description. You can order food from anywhere in Dakar, and he actually told me they will ship the meal anywhere you are in the world. That's an amazing option that some countries don't have, right? You can actually be in your hotel and order food from anywhere you want, and they will bring it to you. So there's amazing delivery services. But why is it that way? It's because of the roads that Senegal has. Senegal has some freaking amazing roads. And that's one other thing that I think is very underrated when it comes to Senegal. So along with the opportunities to have your food delivered, guys, the service is top notch. I always say one of the best things about the United States is the customer service. There are various reasons for that. You know, some people will argue it's because we have a tipping system, right? Where if you tip, people have a tendency to provide better service because they want a better tip, right? So that impacts customer service. When you go to South America, to Africa, when you travel outside the United States, for a lot of people, that's one of the things that you miss is the customer service. I think the United States has the best customer service in the world. Like, I will actually argue that from my standpoint. That's my personal opinion. But when you go to a place like Senegal, you can't help but to be touched by the kindness and the generosity of the people. You will have amazing service. The servers are right there when you need them. You don't have to wait an hour for the bill. You don't have to keep repeating your order 100 times. Senegal customer service is amazing. And Mbassa, Dibité Mbassa, I was truly touched by the kindness of this individual. You know, guys, when I went to film in that place, I actually asked the guy to let me pay for that meal because it was my video. I wanted to promote the place. He didn't ask me for anything. I wanted to promote the place because I loved it so much, you know? But he wouldn't. He said, you're not gonna come here, make my promotion for my restaurant, and at the same time pay. We went back and forth. He wouldn't let me pay. He wouldn't let me pay. So it's not just about money, it's just the ability, the friendship, the kindness that you build with people in Senegal. Not every country is like this. You know, some countries, it's not like they mean anything, it's just culturally. In some places, people are just cold, you know? People are not necessarily trying to embrace strangers. There are places where, as a tourist, you don't necessarily feel comfortable. I want to say that, it's true. In Senegal, I never felt that way. I never felt not welcome. I never felt basically uncomfortable being there as a foreigner. Senegal is also known as the country of teranga. Teranga is this expression that they have to mean kindness, welcoming, sharing. And that's really what Senegal is about. You know, I reached out to Don, who was my camera guy, the drone operator that many of you guys have seen on my videos. He didn't know who I was. And from the moment he met me, he welcomed me in his home. He showed me all his equipment, and he stuck with me from that day until I left for the airport. This kind of connections, it speaks highly about Senegalese people. And when you travel, you want that kind of connection with people. You want people who are friendly to you if you need help. You want people that will make you feel safe if you don't know exactly where you're going. You want people to give you an honest opinion about things and teach you about the culture. And as much as I like to show sites, like I showed the beautiful monument in Dakar, you know, one thing that I really value when I travel is my ability to connect with people. That was easily done in Senegal because people were so welcoming and so generous with their time, with everything. I even had moments where when we were filming that episode of My Last Day, there was a guy who was serving tea. Guys, and this is not expensive. You know, tea is not expensive anywhere, but it's even cheaper when you come with dollars and you're trying to buy tea in Senegal. And I tell you, this guy, he saw me filming, and my voice was, you know, I was losing my voice at that point of the trip with all the filming that I did. And he actually gave me tea over and over. And I say, okay, I knew I was gonna pay him at the end. So when I'm leaving, he said, no, you're not gonna pay. I said, bro, come on, man. He said, you're not gonna pay. I put the money on the table. He gave it back to me. They wouldn't take it, you know? People are so friendly in Senegal. That's why it was very difficult for me to leave. I cannot tell you, I cannot express that enough. The kindness of the Senegalese people is unmatched. Another point that I need to mention is the infrastructures of Senegal. So depending on your budget, you have a tremendous amount of options, right? So I stayed in many different places during my stay in Senegal. I started by staying in an Airbnb, and then I moved into Sali, and we rented, you know, somewhere like I think it's a hotel. It's called Résidence Gabriel. And if you come to Senegal, guys, I recommend that place. Sali is a city after Dakar. Sali is a city that takes about an hour, I think, an hour and 15 minutes. Maybe from Dakar to get to. And transportation when you travel is important. You know, I don't need to tell you guys, you know, one thing that a lot of countries struggle with in Africa is infrastructures, right? Not every country there has an amazing highway. So when the country does, I want to be honest and just not tell you guys, come on, go to Africa. And then you hit me up and say, come on, man, I was disappointed. That's not what you said. I want to be honest about things, right? So one thing about Senegal is the infrastructures. You will be freaking amazed by the roads that they have there. You know, you will be truly, that's one thing that really amazed me about Senegal is the quality of their roads, man. Woo! Yo, it was freaking so nice and so easy. That's why we were able to go up and down, back and forth between Dakar and Saly. And Senegal is not just Dakar and Saly, there's so much more to see. But between everything that I had planned, meeting people, filming, I didn't have a chance to go deeper in Senegal, and I hope, you know, like they say, inshallah, I will go back and I will film more. The quality of the road is what I believe also puts Senegal is the underrated category. You know, this is not about comparing to other countries. Let me just say that you will not be disappointed. Senegal is one of those countries where whether you come from Europe or the US, anywhere, you're comfortable renting a car and you can drive and connect from one city to the next. So another thing, Kenya has Mombasa, a place that unfortunately I haven't had the chance to visit just yet. South Africa has Cape Town. Well, let me tell you guys, Senegal has Saly. And some people even told me in the comments there are other beaches, I don't remember the names right now, where you can go and have an amazing time. So if you are into like the waves and the ocean and catching your sun, guys, I met so many foreigners out there in Saly who were happy to tell me how much they love the time in Senegal. It was freaking nice to see so many people coming from Europe, you know, to come and mingle and meet the locals and enjoy the vibe, man. There's something about Senegal. The vibe is so good. And one good thing is that it's affordable too. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna break the bank by visiting. So don't just stick to the popular countries like the ones I have mentioned. Senegal is one of those countries that hasn't been on the radar for many people yet. But I didn't know what to expect, to be honest. Like I was thinking it's gonna be okay, right? I didn't know it was gonna be freaking amazing. You know what I'm saying? So the vibe there is definitely something that I loved. You know, I felt very comfortable there. Felt very comfortable in Senegal. I didn't get a chance to film the nightlife, but that's another point. I know a lot of people, though you guys are traveling, maybe you might be a single male, trying to meet the ladies, trying to party. I mean, come on, let's be frank about it. It's part of traveling when you're single, right? But I didn't get a chance to do much of that. I did go one night, you know, and the street where the nightlife happens is called Almadi. That street has all your nightclubs. So it's very easy. You know, you don't have to take a taxi, go from one place to another. You don't have to do anything crazy like that. You can easily just get to that street and then start bar hopping, you know? So that's what we did that one night. I wanted to come back to give you guys better views, but it wasn't always easy to film. You know, it wasn't always easy to film. Many people don't like a camera there, and I was tired. It was very early on my trip, so I didn't get a chance to do that. But if you're curious about the nightlife, that's another plus for that car in particular, is how easy. You have a tremendous amount of venues on that street, and you can go from one place to another, from one place to another. I don't think there's a dress code, but you do have entry fees. They were low. I think maybe like $5 to get in some. Some were completely free, and some you had to pay to enter, but it was really nice. They do serve alcohol there, and you have no problem. And that same neighborhood is where you will find one of the most popular, you know, grocery stores that do serve alcohol as well. You know, if you drink, you can go in that place and also purchase some alcohol in the same neighborhood. Another reason why I think Senegal is underrated is because of its rich history. When I was about to drop my video on Goree Island, I reached out to many friends of mine. And I said, man, what do you know about Goree Island? And to my surprise, many of them had no idea what Goree Island was. I was shocked, right? Because Goree Island, if you are a Black person, you have to know about Goree Island, right? It's part of our history. Goree Island was the very last destination where the enslaved were picked up from and taken to the Americas. That was the last stop. That's basically where they were checking your weight, they were checking your health, they were checking your strength, they were checking everything about you, and they were deciding whether you're gonna stay in Africa and work at that island or actually go and to the various destinations where they decide to take the slaves in. So they were getting picked up from many countries in Africa, all throughout the coast. That's why a lot of African Americans, when they check their DNA, many of them come from the coastal countries like Nigeria, Cameroon, you know, the Senegal. Like a lot of those countries are many times the ones that will pop up when people do their DNA check to find out their history, their background, their ancestry. You know, one place that often comes as well is Senegal, you know, and that's because they were taking people from all around and dropping them in Senegal, and from there, they were doing the filtering process. Were you strong enough to handle the tough ride that was ahead? Man, many people didn't know about Goree Island. So I'm glad I made that video because it was a chance to at least reach some of you guys, you know, and tell you about this place because it's part of our history. But why am I mentioning this? It's not just that Senegal has the history, it's the fact that history is kept.
The door, they are calling here the door of no return.
There are many African countries with a tremendous amount of history. We can even argue that every country has its own history, right? But is the history preserved? Are you able to travel to that country, get to that area safely? I can tell you, no. Many countries don't have the infrastructures in place in a way that you can go safely. You have extreme travelers out there, shout out to them, who easily can get on the freaking train in a country where the country does not have the best reputation for train safety, or fly these planes that maybe don't have the best reputation for air safety, or just get on these roads where, you know, you can easily get yourself hurt. There are travelers out there that I watch, you know, who get themselves in a situation. I'm like, wait, if it was me, ain't no way in hell I'll put myself to that situation. No way. So shout out to those extreme travelers. But many of you guys may be married or have children and traveling in different circumstances. So the idea to put yourself at risk may not necessarily be the best idea, right? The good thing with Senegal is those sites are easy to get to. You know, you can get on the boat from Dakar and ride about 30 minutes, I think. Yeah, it was about a good 30 minutes. And you get to Goree Island. And Goree Island has guides. They provide tours in English, French, many other languages. And these guys are very knowledgeable about what happened in Goree Island, and they will tell you about it. What I did was a glimpse. There's so much more history there. You know what I'm saying? There's also a Christian church that is still operating in Goree Island. And you know, Senegal is a predominantly Muslim country. So that Christian church is from back in the day. And that's a place where the Pope came to apologize for slavery. All right, so the history is there. You have the ability to get to the history. You know, that's key. That's key for, you know, a traveler who may not necessarily want to put himself in harm's way when traveling. Because a guy like me, guys, I do not put myself under unnecessary risk when I travel. That is not what I do. That is not what your boy does. Another reason why I believe Senegal is underrated is because of his fashion sense. Senegal has a tremendous amount of great fashion. And you will walk around the street, you will see the ladies with colorful clothes and dresses. There's so many different options. You can actually go to a tailor and get your clothes made for very, very cheap. So if you like African fabric and want to make your own custom-made clothing, man, Senegal is that place. So I actually had a chance to go to a market and I had some of my clothes made over there. And it's so much cheaper than, you know, here in the United States, where you can order things and go to a store and pay what's already made. Over there, you will get your measurement, you will pick the fabric itself, you will get it done, and it's nice and fresh, man. So that's one good thing about Senegal is the fashion sense. They're very fashion conscious. Lots of great, colorful, beautiful African fabric clothes you can get done over there for a fraction of the cost. So I want to leave on this final note, is the safety aspect. You know what I mean? Senegal is one of the most politically stable African countries out there, you know? So a lot of African countries are still fighting for real independence. So unfortunately for a traveler, a lot of African countries may not have the political stability that you may need in order for you to feel comfortable and visit. Well, Senegal does not have that problem. You can easily hop on the plane, go out there, and it's easy to travel solo. So among all the things I have discussed, whether it's the amazing beaches of Sali or the amazing infrastructures, the beautiful roads throughout, the political stability, whether you are an experienced traveler or thinking about going to Africa for the first time, definitely consider Senegal as one of your destinations. You will be pleasantly surprised about everything that Senegal has to offer. Now, and for my content creators out there, if you want someone that can assist you, you know, if professional shoots or something for vlogs like I did, or drone shots, or just pure photography, reach out to my friend RONE. His information is on the description below, RONE Drone. He's a professional photographer, drone operator. This guy, he makes music videos for a vast majority of artists in Senegal, including Youssou N'Dour, who is, as you guys know, #1 in Senegal. You know, the music genre in Senegal is called Balax. So shout out to my friend OUMAR FOUTA, who was behind the amazing song Dibiteri Mbassa. Shout out to my friend RONE Drone, and I put both these gentlemen's information in the description. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Since I've been back, man, I'm dealing with some kind of reverse cultural shock. You know, I was so used to have company every day, you know, always someone to talk to, always someone to chill with. I really miss that about Senegal, man. No country has it all, but definitely one thing that touches you when you travel around Africa is the warm nature of the people, the companionship. It's easy to make friends. You know, it's easy to go out. You don't feel like you're spending too much money. So I invite you guys to expand your horizon, man. You know, many people have the ability to travel and don't necessarily take advantage of it. Like I mentioned on my last video, for those of you who didn't skip, I left a little section where I was discussing a little bit more. I did that on purpose because so many people have an attention span issue and it's just quick to like move on to the next video. But I was discussing traveling and the cost of airplane tickets, you know, but here in the United States, you know, it's not an issue of necessarily money. A lot of people work and make a tremendous amount of money to travel, but they don't travel because they feel like they have it all. They feel like, you know, I have everything I need here. But all it takes is one trip overseas for you to find out that it's not the case. You have to go out there on your own and travel. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to tell you some of the issues that Africa faces. Every continent has its own problems. You know what I'm saying? And as, you know, I'm going out there to Africa, I want to show you that there's more. There's more than just poverty. There's more than just homelessness. There's more than just hunger. There are people in Africa, many of them live way more than people here in the US. And it's not about income. Because if you just compare dollar per dollar, of course, the ratio of Americans making more money is way higher, but that's not what it's about. It's how much money do you save? After you get paid, and you paid all your bills, you paid your taxes and everything, how much money do you actually have to invest back on yourself? And when it comes to that, you will find that a lot of these countries that we consider third world, many people make a decent income and are able to actually invest money on themselves, build businesses, and reach the point of financial freedom without having so much of an overhead, you know? So that's the beautiful thing about Africa. So there are people that, you know, I don't want to mention, but as soon as I came back, I tuned in my TV because I was watching a lot of the Senegalese videos. There's a very popular YouTuber who went there recently and he filmed just the worst, most horrible places in Senegal. The whole channel is built on that. His whole channel is to film the worst of countries. And, you know, it is content. That's his choice. That's his right to do that. The personal issue I have with that type of content, if that's all you do, is that for people who don't travel, if that's what they watch all the time, it's not difficult to understand why some people don't travel because you're thinking, man, you know, I only feel safe here. I only feel safe in my own neighborhood. I only feel safe in my house. I don't want to even get on the plane and go anywhere outside the US. So it's not that, you know, I think it's wrong to film bad areas. I've gone to some of the less privileged areas myself.
Welcome to Cuba!
But I also want to bring the humanity of these people that many times don't have a voice. So you guys can hear how people make it with much less than you can even possibly imagine. So YouTube has a lot of different type of content. And I just invite you, if you're tempted to watch these videos where people show the worst of countries, just know that's not the whole entire country. And don't be quick to make judgments based on what people say. You know, every time I travel somewhere, people either tell me, oh, you should go, it's amazing. Then you get there, it's not so amazing. Or people say, don't go, don't go, don't go. And then you go, and it's exactly the opposite of what you thought. So don't base your judgment on what people say. Go out there on your own. And remember, there's two sides to every story. Every country has a bad area. So guys, on that note, let me hang it up here. I hope you enjoyed. If so, kindly hit that like button, subscribe, share the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.
Viens au Sénégal, le secret bien gardé, le joyau d'Afrique que t'as jamais exploré. Les gens sont vrais, l'ambiance est folle. Si tu vas pas mec, tu rates le rôle. Viens goûter les saveurs sans l'amour. Sénégal t'attend, c'est plus qu'un séjour. Pas de retour en arrière une fois que t'es là. Ce pays va te changer, crois-moi c'est comme ça. Yeah. Des marchés colorés aux plages dorées. Chaque moment est unique, chaque instant est sacré. La teranga te prend, te serre contre son cœur. Sénégal c'est la vie, c'est plus qu'un voyage.
So guys, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and check out other videos that I have. I travel as much as I can and I show you very unique content of countries that I visit. So click right here, click right there, click everywhere, subscribe, and I'll see you guys. Peace.
Yo.